Hello, I'm back in the closet to record this voiceover. Anyway, hello, hi. Today's video is a bit random, but I have quite a lot to say about this topic, so might as well share with you. If you're new here, I went through a lot of phases when it comes to sketchbooks. I went from making everything look finished to filling all the pages with sketches and occasional polished drawings here and there. I think in total I filled out maybe 11 sketchbooks, which isn't a lot, but I have more than that. I just never counted them because they're way too messy for me to include. And so yeah, I have quite a lot under my belt. I'm not claiming to be a professional though. I didn't study anywhere yet. This is just things I do and note it down to share with some of you. I'm pretty sure a lot of people have similar tips, not identical. But this is just to show how same methods can give different results to each person. This is also not a guide on what you should do. It's just to give you an idea on things you could do to keep you motivated when looking back on your pages. By the way, I'll be drawing my Hahnemühle figure in the background while I fill the void of silence so you can all draw in peace. And for those who do watch the video, my head might be peeking out somewhere sometimes because of how awkward the whole setup was. It's not the most comfortable, so if you want better vids, please sub so I can make 30 euros and buy a tripod. Thanks. Anyway, back to the topic. I heard a lot of people struggle with adding a pop of color to their pages, or in a way that isn't just squares or triangles or any shape behind the drawings. So what I usually do is I do the rough sketch with the highlighter and then go over it with pen. I noticed that by doing it, I also got way better with lines and freehanding. There are times I just go straight with pen now, like in the video, actually. There's a part where I just sketch out the Hahnemühle without any highlighters. But I think that's the best pen or marker to do it with, because they have this white tip that won't let you go into details, leaving all the heavy work for when you go over with gel pen. Of course, you don't need to do it if you're already comfortable with your lines and can do it with no guidelines whatsoever, but I still think it looks nice and I mostly do it for the color. I'll be including some clips in the background so you can see what I mean if you're confused by any point. So, second tip is redraw your mistakes. If you're doing simpler rough sketches and there's a mistake that you notice, redraw it right next to the drawing. I do it whenever I want to figure out what would be the best way to draw the thing in question. If it's a more smaller sketch and you wouldn't want to space to get too cluttered next to it, use sticky notes. Most of them are a bit see-through, so you'll be able to compare the two and understand what you did differently. If you're still unhappy with how it's going, take that one off and use another one. Once you think you did well, glue the other side so it doesn't come out of the place. I must add though, don't just glue everything that looks off to you. Evaluate what you're okay with living as it is, even if it's not ideal, and what bothers you to the point of not being able to stop thinking about it. I think a lot of you fixate on making every sketch perfect because when you watch other tours, everything looks so neat, but all you have to do is just look a bit closer and notice that they actually leave a lot of mistakes just there for you to see. If you look closely at my own sketchbook tours, you'll just notice that not all the proportions are right, or maybe I just left something because it was too late to redraw or just didn't feel the need to. So be gentler with yourself and be a bit more realistic, really. All you have to do is look closely. Speaking of glue, you can always decorate your sketchbook with different things you have. Little papers, tickets, checks. I even often take off labels from foods because I'd like to include them somewhere in my book. People often forget that collage is also considered art, and by practicing it, you're developing your composition skills. Or you can just glue small things here and there, just for the giggle and memories. Also, I would recommend you get star stickers in case you don't want to go all out with it. You can put those literally anywhere, regardless of the theme, and not have the attention taken from the drawing themselves. Oh yeah, documenting things you find important is also a very good way to get yourself drawing and fill up a page. Usually I do it with my dreams. They're usually quite weird and sometimes I wake up thinking about them. And the ones that impact me the most I scribble down in simple sketches. Same goes with places you visit, people you see, things around you. Noting them down has helped me not forget about those moments, and each time I open those spreads I know when and where I drew them without needing any notes. And for example, there was, this one drawing where I was in the field drawing the landscape, and that's where I discovered that my bike has lights and I can legally ride it. Or this one where we were just on the bench talking and while I was drawing, and yeah, all these little things, little memories. Actually, that brings me to another point. There's more to draw than just humanoid creatures. I do actually struggle with that myself, of course, but you can always practice painting other things. There's so much you can choose from. Plants, mushrooms, animals, inanimate objects, landscapes and other environments. I actually found out that I quite like drawing things from life, especially landscapes and silly things around me. For example, I was on a 4-hour train ride, and I was just bored to the point of drawing my strawberry milk and my coffee cup, and just the people around me. I just said you should try to draw other things, but yeah, maybe you should try that too. Even if it's not your cup of tea, at least you filled a little bit more of your sketchbook. Not sure how many tips I've covered by now, but try experimenting with art supplies and the sketchbook itself. I'm sure all of you have preferred art supplies by now, but if you're new to keeping a sketchbook or coming back from a long break like I did, try multiple options when drawing. You never know if something suits you or not without trying it out first, so go, be wild, and try as many art supplies as you have with you. I wouldn't recommend you buy new ones just for the experimental part though, unless it's something cheap and you know that there's a very high chance you'll like it. Then yeah, maybe you should buy some, but don't. You need money for more than that. Not in this economy. Oh, this also includes the surface that you draw on too. I think not a lot of people realize how important it is that you're actually comfortable with your sketchbook, with its format and paper. For example, I know I don't like horizontal formats because I feel like it limits me and it doesn't give me enough space to draw what I have in mind. I also know that I'm not a fan of completely smooth paper like the one I'm using right now, so that's why I'm using markers actually, because watercolors just do not work with it. Or the type of paper that makes every wet medium, even a gel pen, bleed. Oh, and I don't like soft covers because of how easily it gets messed up. I had multiple of them though because they're thin and they're easy to fill out, and that you should also look into thinner sketchbooks too, in case you struggle with completing a thicker one. You need to branch out to know what you like. Maybe your A5 sketchbook within a pleasant paper is what's holding you back. Maybe you could choose a square sketchbook with thicker paper and less pages. Or you can be like one of those crazy people and try to fill out an A4 sketchbook. Thoughts and prayers for you. Oh, I just remembered another thing. Fill your sketchbooks gradually. You know all those busy pages you've seen on my tour? Yeah, those took me a long time to actually put them together that way. Whenever I see something that would go well there, even after filling up a bunch of more spreads, I still come back to the old ones, adding new things each time. One of my favorite pages in my old sketchbook is one of those examples actually. There was nothing but the sketches. Then I started gluing things I found, doodling a bit more here and there. And once I was satisfied, I finally considered it finished. I'll try finding pictures of it. I don't think I have examples because I don't really photograph my traditional process because of it. Also, if you paid attention and didn't just keep the video in the background, you might have noticed that the end of the sketchbook looked much more empty. But trust me, if that sketchbook had more pages to fill, I would have definitely come back to stick things in, like the ones I've mentioned before. Basically, give yourself time and go through your book to see maybe you found something new that you could add to it. Maybe have a doodle that the size of that perfect empty space there. Just go back and review all of your pages now, immediately, as the video is going. Just flip through your pages, think about it, think maybe you have a new idea. Okay, now, toss everything I said into the garbage. Don't actually, but remind yourself that repetition is okay. Drawing the same things from time to time is okay. Not every page has to be unique. You don't have to make bangers after bangers. You could take up multiple spreads drawing the same pose for a bigger art piece, like Even the Hatsune Miku I'm drawing right now, if you take your eyes off whatever you're doing and look at the video, you can see that I had to sketch a thumbnail, first of all, then a big sketch of her pose to see and figure out how she's sitting, how I want her to be sitting. Still changed quite a lot from her original position. And then I just went to the final drawing that I colored with markers. So even if there's no other reason except boredom, muscle memory is important, and if you feel less inspired to branch out on some days, it's alright to just draw your character standing or simple portraits. Actually, I'll just show every portrait I find in my sketchbook that I've put together in a collage. It would just look identical. Okay, not identical, but very similar to one to another. And honestly, I would recommend you actually do that if you're getting back into art after a burnout. That's exactly what I did, and it helped me a lot to actually consistently draw again. Of course, moderation is key. Don't be harsh about it, but like I said, it's always good to push yourself to do something new and branch out. But if you're getting back into art, don't do that. Just make your stiff characters standing, sitting, looking to the side. That's what you need right now. Once you're getting more comfortable with your art style and your muscle memory, that's when you should go into more complicated things. And we are reaching the last point, which is do whatever you want. There's absolutely no right way to keep a sketchbook. If you feel better about it when you draw at least one finished drawing per page, go for it. If you prefer messy, sketchy pages, keep it that way. These silly books were made with the purpose of us using them however we want. Sure, they might give you a list of art supplies that are best for you to use in it, but it's just a tip from them. You won't get banned from the art community server for, I don't know, using watercolors on 120 grams paper. I actually kind of like it when the paper goes all wobbly and fun. But really, if you try drawing like someone you admire and think, oh, I would love to draw like that, and you take all the steps they did, which landed in a similar result, but you're just not happy with it, then maybe it's just not for you. Liking how something looks and wanting to actually draw like that are quite different things. And I've committed that mistake. So here's some examples of people's art I actually really enjoy, and I try to imitate it at some point in my life, but I don't think I would be happy keeping a sketchbook like that, like they do now. It's just not my style. I liked it, but it's not what I want to do. So don't confuse the two. Moral of the story, don't force it if you feel like it's not working out. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I know there's probably a bunch more ways to fill up your sketchbook, and I would recommend you watch other videos and listen to other opinions. But again, this is just my way of doing it. I'm giving you my tips, my way of doing things, and yeah, if I didn't include some type of tip, that means I just don't do it. So you should give other videos a watch. Hopefully it was somewhat helpful. If not, well, at least now you have another video to listen in the background while we draw. Oh yeah, before I end the video, I just wanted to mention that I might attempt ArtFight this year. I think I had joined once in 2020, drew 4 attacks, and then my massive burnout came and didn't touch a pencil for like 2 years. But not because of ArtFight, just because of me in school. But that was it. Most of the times I just observed from a distance because of how burnt out I felt. Now that I'm back into the art game though, I might give it a shot and feel free to attack, you know? I'm not saying anything, but feel free to attack if you're Team Seaphone. And friendly attacks are also okay. I'll definitely friendly attack. And maybe I'll have my revenge of some of you. So yeah, keep an eye on it. Maybe I'll draw more than 4 attacks. Maybe I'll just spam everything. I don't think I'll do traditional attacks because just in case I can just edit something very quickly with traditional art. I guess it's not as forgiving. Maybe I'll make it. Maybe I'll make some. I don't know. But yeah, start of Steam. Keep it in mind. Well, I think that's it for now. If you're still watching, thank you for sticking with me. I'm not sure when the next video will come out because my alone time is ending. I'm not sure when the next video will come out because my alone time will be over very soon. tomorrow, actually, by the time of me recording this. Maybe if I'll have ideas and another opportunity to film, we might get another video before August. If not, expect a sketchbook tour around that time. I'm not feeling it as actively as I would hope, but hey, still, it's going well. It's going well. I just needed a 2 weeks break. My Minecraft phase is over, I think, or at least it's dying, so I might get back into actively drawing every day, or something like that. But yeah, anyway, I will see you again one day. Bye bye.